Do you feel like a worthless piece of shit that should be doing more, but that just can't do it? Do you want to become better and get free of the chains that are holding you back? If so, then you, my friend, have come to the right place. Call right now at 003745. Wait, oh fucking hell. Fucking hell, that's for another video. I'm so sorry guys. But wait, don't leave. Even though I don't plan on selling you a self-cleaning vacuum self-cleaner, this video will still help you. So, what the hell am I talking about when I say that it could drastically improve your life and get you out of the rut that you're in? As you've hopefully seen from the title, this video is all about creating good habits and eliminating the bad ones. What? And I know you're probably thinking right now, but Victor, I don't have any bad habits. I don't have habits at all. So why the fuck are you lying, you lying piece of shit? Whoa, wait a second bro. Please don't come for my family. There is a good explanation for everything. I understand how you feel. At first, I myself and many people do not tend to consider that our lives are made out of habits, because we've never actually tried to create any. But habits, especially bad ones, are like herpes. Even though you don't want to create them, they still fucking appear after a night of drinking and partying. I wonder how. But seriously though, we all have habits. Even though we don't realize or want to admit it. Everything from what we do right after waking up to what we do right before going to bed is some sort of habit. The fact that you get up in the morning at around the same time, hopefully. You check your phone, you lay in bed for a few more hours, you go eat, and you brush your teeth. These are all habits, and when they're put one after another like I did there, they turn into a routine. And these routines are the reason we either like our lives and feel great about them, or we despise them and want everything about them to be over. We as humans complicate life so much, and we think that it's this complicated series of events that dictate everything from how we are, how we think, how we feel, and how our future will look, that we overlook the fact that every one of those things is either influenced or almost completely determined by the small things we do each and every single day. If right now I were to show you two different people, the only thing you would get to know about them is the routines and the small things they do. Let's say one of them would have the routine I mentioned earlier, staying in bed till later in the day, scrolling on Instagram right after waking up, and so on. Whilst the other one would have the following routine: wakes up at exactly the same time each day, gets out of bed, stretches, goes out for a run, gets back home, journals, meditates, eats, and then reads. And at the end, I would ask you, which one of them do you think has a better life, and which one do you believe will have a better future? And to be honest, we all know the answer to that. Even though I didn't say anything about their families, childhood, friends, trauma, where they live, or anything like it. I simply told you about the small things they do each day. Good. Now that you know why creating habits is so important, I want to show you how you can actually do it, how you can improve every single day and get out of the rut that you are in. And in order to make this all so much easier, I've broken down everything I know into 5 small points. Number 1, a slight change in your daily habits can guide your life to a very different destination. James Clear. Far too often we think that what we need is this biggest leap in our lives to save us from the place we're in. But in reality, what leads us to a better and more fulfilling life is the 1% improvement that we make, or should make, every day. Stop thinking that success is only achievable through a single massive change in everything you stand for. The only thing that's gonna bring you is a complete fucking lack of motivation. Success and progress are made by tiny changes in our behavior that compound into a different life. As the book Atomic Habits says, you have to become 1% better every day. It sounds stupidly simple, becoming 1% better every day. But think of the results you'd have if you did that for an entire year. You'll be almost 38 times better than you are right now. We need to focus our lives on becoming better in any way than the person we were yesterday. And goddamn, that rhymed. But that's the easiest way to achieve the life you want. Number 2, the 3 layers of behavior change. And yeah, I know I should have put this number 3, but shut the fuck up. The first layer is the first one we see when we look at someone, the outcomes. Becoming more muscular, learning an instrument, or I don't know, just looking smarter, I guess. These are all quantifiable things that we can see. The second one is processes, meaning the things we do in order to get those results, like going to the gym, eating healthier, taking piano lessons, and so on. The third and final layer is your identity, which means who you are, what you believe in, and how this potato-ass brain works. When we want something, we always focus on the results we get from it. We think about becoming more muscular, smarter, and so on. At most, we try to see what we need to do in order to achieve said things, but almost none of us think about who we need to become. What kind of person would do those things? You see, when something horrible happens, our first reaction is to say, God damn, who would do such a thing? And that's because it's easier for us to judge bad behaviors rather than to look at good ones. Because if we did that, we then have to look at ourselves and see how far behind we are in some cases. We'd have to see and accept our shortcomings. But if you want to achieve something, whether that is becoming healthier, more athletic, more muscular, stop focusing on the outcomes of it. Sure, it's good to imagine that superb body you want to have that will bring you a lot of fucking motivation. But you have to think about what kind of person you need to become in order to achieve that. Let's say for example that you want to start running. Stop thinking of yourself as the person who's trying to pick up this habit. Start believing that you are a runner. Embody that vision of yourself. And this works for bad habits as well. If you want to quit a bad habit, don't think of yourself as the person who's trying to quit smoking, for example. You just end up resorting to it when the time comes. I actually talked about this in one of my previous videos about NoFap. If you want, you can check it out right here. But you have to create the image of yourself as someone who doesn't smoke anymore and tell yourself that every day. Number 3, habit stacking. Everything about habits becomes monumentally easier when you start implementing habit stacking. What this means is basically putting a new habit, one that you want to implement, right after one that already exists in your life and your way of being. I kind of did this in the reverse way. I don't know if it's supposed to work like that, but for me it did. So I'll show it to you as well. Somewhere around a year ago, I wanted to get into the habit of having cold showers because I looked on the internet and it seemed really fucking cool. And yeah, that was a pun. But at first, it was kind of hard to get them to stick. Especially because it took a lot of freaking motivation to burst myself with 10-degree cold water every single day. So what I did after a while was this. I knew that every time I exited the house, I'd go and brush my teeth. Which, weirdly enough, took place in the exact space I had my shower. Pretty strange, right? And so I said to myself, why not just shower before exiting the house, before brushing my teeth? And to be honest, that was the smartest sentence I had formed after a long while. But that's literally it. Since then, I had no more problems with skipping showers. The important thing is that upgrading your number of habits is as simple as linking one that's already ingrained in your mind and life with one that you want to pick up. It's really not rocket science, unless, of course, you want to pick up the habit of learning rocket science. Also, if you think a little about it, why the fuck do we call anything that's hard rocket science? It's just one big metal thingy that takes a harder fart in order to get to that cheesy place. I'm just now realizing that I explained the moon landing in one sentence. Okay, besides the fact that I called the moon the cheesy place, I want to tell you one more thing before moving on to number 4. And that is, if you want to actually do what you set up your mind to, you have to make it exact. What I mean by that is, instead of saying, this week I'll read 50 pages of this book, you have to say, every day at 7 o'clock I'll read X number of pages from this book in my room. Be careful to give yourself a time and a place as exact as possible in order to make sure that you won't have the possibility to say, I'll do it tomorrow, or any other phrases that we've all become too accustomed to saying. And now, moving on to number 4, your environment. We've all gone through the experience of saying, okay, today's the day, I'm gonna sit my ass down and finally study, just to be hit with that beeping sound from our phones that were sitting right there next to us, and all that blah blah of, oh but I can't just leave her hanging, what if she won't like me anymore? comes into your head and you forget absolutely everything about doing your study. Trust me, it happened to me so many times. But it's hard for everyone, no matter how disciplined we may be, to see that our phone notification rang and to not be distracted by it. But just having our phones on the same table as our work and hearing them buzz slowly but surely chips away at our capacity to concentrate. And another thing that I've learned from a video about the book Atomic Habits, yes, I said video because I cannot afford to buy it right now, is that we need to make our environment favor as much as possible our good habits, whilst making our bad ones almost invisible. We're all human. If we see big-titted girls, we're more likely to jack off. If we have our phones near us, we're more likely to respond to the next girl that will break our hearts instead of studying. That's just how we're made. So, if you want to become more productive, swap up that phone from your table with a full bottle of water and you'll see both your health as well as your ability to concentrate fart so much that they will skyrocket. Number 5. Group influence. The most important influences you're gonna have in your life are the people with whom you spend your time around. Just imagine why most teens these days start smoking at such a young age. It's because they see their friends doing it, they want to be cool and accepted, and so they start indulging in that activity as well. And I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to group influences, I'm doing a pretty poor job. Almost all the friends I have either smoke, drink, or both, and none of them even think about or want to acknowledge their future. And I know I'm sounding like that priest who tells you to respect God, then goes and fucks that 14-year-old girl behind the church. I have no right to preach to you about this, but I just want you to know that sometimes you have to make the best with what you get. I know the friends I have aren't the best, and out of all of them, I have one or maybe two at max that I really like spending time with, but I've never stepped on my own morals or philosophies because of them. Right now, I don't drink, apart from 1 to 2 shots when I'm at a party, and I've never even tried smoking. So if it's hard for you to find like-minded people where you are right now, first of all, don't give up. You don't know when you're gonna find that amazing group of friends that maybe it's just gonna step on your front door, and for that reason alone, it's worth to continue searching, even if it hurts. And secondly, surround yourself with people that are closest to your heart, but don't let their influences overcome you. Thankfully though, in today's age, there is a good way to have a nice group influence, even without including the people in your day-to-day life. You know the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend your time with, don't you? Well, in today's time, you could alter this a bit. You are the average of the 5 people whose content you consume. If it's not really possible for you to be friends with people with the same goals as you, at least try to surround yourself with the content that you feel is best aligned with your goals. Okay, that was almost it for this video, but before I end it off, just like cancer ended my father off, I want to give you a small bonus tip for making it this far into the video, and that is to reward yourself. It's extremely important for your motivation and especially your monkey brain to see that your work has some immediate rewards. You can, for example, track how many workouts you do in a week, how many times you've done a certain habit that you wanted to pick up, or if you're working on something just like I am with YouTube, you can track how many hours you spent working on it, just like I have here on my wall. Every time I work another hour, I immediately draw another line with my marker. This makes me view the work that I'm putting in, and it makes me feel like I'm actually working towards something. But okay, no more pranks now. That was it for this video. Now I have to give it the outro without any script in front of my face. So please, bear with me. First of all, I just want to say thank you for staying with me until the end of the video. I know my speech wasn't so great in it, and I don't know how entertaining it was. I think it all depends on what wonders I do with editing tomorrow. But I really tried to give my best for this video. I made 2 separate attempts. One lasting 30 minutes, and this one around 30 minutes as well. And the first one gave me such a fucking crippling depression in my head that I had to just take a break, and all I did was watch YouTube videos in that time. And if you also liked it, given that you stayed so long into this shitty ass video, I would appreciate it a lot if you are so kind as to subscribe to my channel and join me on this journey of becoming one of the best YouTubers on this platform. But anyways, that was really it for this video. If you want to see my dumb face again, you can watch this video right here. It would mean the world to me. And until next time, Have the most amazing day and keep growing.